Hello, guys. So, here to talk about the big micro teaching assignment. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I actually had a lot more fun with that than I thought. And again, I want to thank my brother for coming to help me out with that. I want to thank the professor for giving me the chance to bring in a sword, an actual sword, to actually do a demonstration. That was really cool. I think the fact that I brought in a sword to begin with was just, it was almost unheard of. I doubt that I could actually do that in a real classroom setting, but I think the chance to do that was great. I did Shogun, the book by James Clavell, and I did also a little bit of history on the Sengoku Jidai or Sengoku era of Japan. And I don't think a lot of people really knew much about that to begin with. I got a couple of questions saying, "Isn't that when the Last Samurai, the movie, took place?" Um, and no, it's not. But that's not what we're talking about in the slide. What it really was about was it was the Warring States period took place about 200 years before the Last Samurai took place. But the fact that a lot of people didn't know that was good, because you want to teach them. You want them to understand and better recognize what they know versus what they don't know. So it was a real pleasure getting to teach this. I think my hook question, if I really had a hook question, I think it was more of just how much do you know about the Sengoku Jidai? How much do you know about Shogun? How much do you know about the samurai era? And I think the answer was pretty obvious. Nothing, next to nothing. We just know that they had cool armor, cool swords, that's about it. So it was really cool getting to teach them that and getting to see how far they were willing to go in learning that. I think the best part about the lesson was getting to bring out the swords, show off the swords a little bit. I think that was fun. I think that really hooked the audience. And I also agree with the professor when he said, I would love to see girls in this classroom too, because I honestly think that the guys would be more into it than the girls would be. But I don't know. I've seen some girls who might have been into it. It might have happened. If there was one area that I think that it didn't work as well, if there was one area that it might have needed some improvement, it was in the time management. I think that for a 90-minute class, I think it would have been fine. I think I would have been okay. But for a 20-minute lesson, it was a bit too long. And yeah, that's one of the biggest downfalls. I think my other big problem was I went too fast. I had planned this to be a long-winded, very detailed lesson when I should have just stuck to the bare points. I think that was my biggest weakness. If I can learn to negotiate my time management, negotiate how fast I talk, and fix those areas, I think it'll have gone over a lot better. Also, I'm like I said at the beginning, I'm very much aware that I probably won't be able to bring in a sword into an actual classroom, but I probably could have brought in a wooden sword, my boken. That might have worked. And if I do bring in an actual sword, definitely get the principal's permission first. So I'm very much aware of that. A couple people actually wrote in their comments, "You can't bring a real sword."
Well, no shit.
I know. I'm very aware of that. And one person actually wrote in their comments, they said, you need to talk a little bit about the female role in the culture at that time period in Japan. And I do want to address that real quick. And this is actually a question I could raise to the professor too. I don't think that matters in context of the lesson. This class isn't about the culture of the Sengoku Jidai so much as it is comparing the Sengoku Jidai to the book. And the book does not go into the cultural significance of women at that time in detail, especially for the portion that I was teaching today. So I think that was more of their personal interest rather than anything that actually mattered. So I guess the question would be, should I address that in future classes, or is that not really relevant unless I'm teaching specifically on the Sengoku era of Japan? But all that aside, very enjoyable presentation. I had a lot of fun. It was nothing like what I expected it to be, but it was still a great learning experience for me, for the classroom as well. I hope I get to do more like it in the future. Well, if I'm going to be a teacher, I am going to be doing a lot like it in the future, so moot point. All right, that's it.